WWE Raw review for the November 3rd episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. As always, cheers. Talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, fallout from Saturday Night Main Event. A new era, Triple H said, would be beginning on Raw here. Well, how new really was it? I don't know. We'd find out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching with you guys, per usual, on our YouTube live streams, youtube.com/COD WrestlePod. Make sure to stop by our live streams if you haven't. It's a lot of damn fun, but let's get into this thing, huh? Because our new champion, CM Punk, did start Monday Night Raw. It's good to see him. He comes out there with the belt. Great side plates on that thing, looking real good. He does say it's great to be alive as champion on Monday Night Raw, so he's doing his bit. He thanks his wife AJ, he thanks his fans, and he thanks Mr. Jey Uso, but he does say that SummerSlam taught him one thing, and that's that he needs to hold that belt nice and tight because it can be gone just like that. He even mentions Seth Rollins, and he does the title swing over his head, mimicking Seth Rollins. He says that he understands he now has a target, but it doesn't matter who it is. It's Braun Bronson division. He's a fighting champ. He'll fight anybody. He mentions AJ Styles, Dirty Dom, JD McDonough, Sheamus, John Cena. He says anyone. And so anyone arrives, and that anyone was Logan Paul. The GOAT. Of course, he's here. He comes out and he says, and Punk's doing a great job. He's like, anybody but you. No. And he's like yelling at Logan, and Logan's laughing. He's like, he grabs the mic and he looks at the crowd and he says, well, he said anyone. I fought all the guys that you just talked about. Basically, I've fought the best. I've earned this. And when he says he's earned this, of course, Paul Heyman's voice shows up in the Vision, walk their happy butts to the ring. He calls Paul, he makes fun of both of them, basically. He introduces Braun and Bronson per usual. He calls Bronson Reed the OTT now, the original tribal chief. And he's a thief. My bad. He's just the chief of me, you know? But basically, he tells Logan to get out of the ring because it's time for Braun to go do his stuff. And Braun even grabs the mic and says the same thing. He's like, Logan, get out because it's my turn to do this stuff. And Logan says basically that he called dibs first. So he's like, no, you can, get in the back of the line after me. But Braun and Bronson start to step up. They're ready to fight, and that's when Logan Paul would get out of the ring and kind of choose business here. But they shove Logan Paul into the apron, and they start to attack CM Punk. So they start to attack CM Punk. But Logan Paul does get back in the ring and actually help CM Punk there for a moment. And he evens the odds a little bit, but the Vision are just too much for him. He does end up eating a tsunami, Logan Paul does, but CM Punk is able to get back in the ring and scare the Vision away with a chair. So they're now going away. But Braun Breaker has now made it very clear that he is coming for that belt, but CM Punk is a fighting champion. He's open to fighting anybody. So it looks like the future of Raw is the Vision, but it could be also CM Punk doing nice things. This is a weird opening with the Logan Paul stuff. We'll get to more of that later, but I'm popping it. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Like you said, a weird opening bit. I don't know. It just felt kind of clunky at points because you're like, well, Logan Paul is random, and then of course you have to have the Vision inserted. I liked everything CM Punk said about being a fighting champion, naming all the people, giving everybody their props, giving Jey Uso props from their Saturday Night Main Event match, which I thought was kind of much needed. I know Jay's facing a lot of backlash for that match, so it was nice, kind of cool to see CM Punk be like, hey, shout out Jay, that was awesome. Paul Heyman coming out, it is what it is. It's the same stuff every week. The one takeaway for the Vision in this opening segment that I did have was Braun Breaker on the mic, at least. I enjoyed Braun Breaker basically being like, hey, I listened. I was chained up on this leash. Paul Heyman held me back, but he's not holding me back anymore. I'm coming for you guys. I'm destroying you guys. So get out of my ring. I liked that part. Maybe little bits and pieces more of Braun Breaker like that. I'll be fine with the Vision if that's kind of what we get, because there was a moment where I was like, God, this might be same old Vision stuff. But that part at least saved it for the Vision for me.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it. I'm with you. I do like Braun Breaker talking more. I think we need Braun Breaker talking more while also letting Paul Heyman doing a lot of the narrative lifting because that's what Paul Heyman does, and we should let him do what he does, right? But the Logan stuff and all that, we'll get into my final thoughts later on down the road. But at the end of the day, I did love CM Punk shouting out those dirty doms of the world, those JD McDonough. That was probably the name that stuck out to me the most. I was like, JD, huh? Really? Okay, that's awesome because JD's a baller in the ring. So once we get through this Vision story, maybe at some point, maybe we get to see a CM Punk fighting champion reign. That's kind of what I would like to see. But
we kind of all penciled in maybe Braun Breaker's taking that title, or if you want to be I guess on the Seth Rollins train, whenever Seth Rollins comes back, maybe that's the route they go. But if we can get all of these matches or even a few of these matches CM Punk named, like, sign me up.
Amen. Get a good match to start out. All the matches tonight were great, by the way. I mean, just great. But we got Stephanie Vaquer teaming up with Nikki Bella to take on Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, and this thing was good. We get Nikki beating up on Roxanne right away, but when Raquel gets in that ring, Raquel looks like a star. She starts beating up on Nikki. In fact, Nikki did a lot of the bumping in this match. She was getting whooped here and there and everywhere. Eventually, we would get Stephanie getting the hot tag in, and she's able to get her devil's kiss on Roxanne, all this good stuff, right? But eventually, Nikki would hit a rack attack on Roxanne Perez, but Raquel breaks the pin. That's when Steph obviously gets involved, and she ends up trying to get a devil's kiss on Raquel onto the apron, but Raquel's able to say no, reverse that, and like slam Steph's face into the apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. I don't know if you've ever heard about that. But during this, Roxanne and Nikki are now back in the ring, and Nikki goes for a pin on top of Roxanne, and Roxanne kind of shoots Nikki into the rope, and she not only into the rope, but into a big old right hand from Raquel, and that stuns Nikki, gives Roxanne the moment to get the pop rocks on her. And 1, 2, 3, Raquel and Roxanne, they defeat Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer. There's no shenanigans after this match. This was absolutely great, and I think the right people won. I'm a big Nikki Bella fan, but the more Roxanne pins we can get, the better. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. You got your women's champ on TV, which is nice to see because at times the women's champ has not been on TV, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? Be on TV. I know people might complain that she's in like this tag team storyline right now. I'm still enjoying it. Nikki Bella, as much of a Nikki Bella hater as I maybe come off to be sometimes, she's really putting in some good work. Her matches have been pretty solid, which is something that I never really kind of thought I'd say. I'm sitting there like, okay, cool. Yeah, we got from point A to point B. Nothing really kind of blows me away, but at the same time, nothing takes away from the match, right? There's nothing glaring that I'm like, oh, that was bad. You got Roxanne getting the pin here, like you said. Much needed for Roxanne, and Raquel looks like $1 million. I thought this was about as perfect as you could be.
Yeah, I absolutely love this stuff because when you normally have a legend come back and they do this teaming up thing, we've kind of seen stories like this before. The veteran comes back and teams with somebody, and then they get wins, and they're kind of overpowered, and the legend kind of does too much. Nikki's doing a bunch of bumping. Nikki's taking pins on back-to-back weeks to Roxanne. Fantastic stuff, man. Letting these people get wins over her. Those are big. Those are the type of things that build things into where you get next week's match. Because now we have next week. It is announced that you have Stephanie Vaquer taking on Raquel Rodriguez for that world championship. That is the match we all wanted. Raquel's been looking like a star lately. I think that is absolutely perfect. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I know people kind of had the rumblings about Raquel originally, like maybe she should take the title before Stephanie's name was thrown out there, right? And people were like, yeah, on board, sign me up. Raquel's doing some really good work. Stephanie's doing some great work, obviously. The visual still gets me. I'm still all about that visual, her looking up to Raquel. And then honestly, you have Nikki Bella being like, hey, I'm sorry I cost this. I'm sorry that you're having to defend the title because of me. And Stephanie's obviously, no, it's fine. It's no big deal. But there's just like little story beats like that I'm like, you know what? I'm all about this stuff.
Yeah, not only do we get a great championship match next week, which is awesome, I think we've also really been hinting at a Nikki Bella heel turn. I think it may happen next week on Raw during that Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel thing. I mean, Nikki comes out, she apologizes and she apologizes. She gives a little bit of an eyeing to the title after she walks away. So it's just little hints here and there. But I think it'd be spectacular if you get Raquel a great title shot, but somehow, some way it gets DQ'd or something. But then we lead to Nikki Bella versus Stephanie Vaquer. That's a great first round of title defenses for Steph in a real story. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, Stephanie Vaquer gets the win. Nikki Bella comes out, fins off Raquel and Roxanne after the match. Boom, clothesline. Boom, rack attack. And then there you go.
So you think it's happening?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sign me up.
I'm down.
I'm honestly all for it. Like I said, I might be the Nikki Bella hater of the two of us, but she's doing good work.
She's doing some great work.
Doing good work.
Deserved. We did move backstage. Punk and Jay are backstage, and they basically cement the fact that they can trust each other for their tag match tonight because they are facing the Vision. It is Punk and Jay. Logan Paul got tsunami'd. He can't be there, so it's going to be Jay teaming up with Punk. But Jay basically at this point is saying, you were the better man. I'm with you. If I would have won the championship, they would be beating up on me too. So I'm gonna help. Then we would get El Grande taking on Penta, two of the greatest luchadors in history. They are here and they're ready to go. And this was absolutely awesome. It was just a bunch of Grande and Penta stuff. It's hard to recapture all of that. They're high flying, doing all this crazy stuff. But Grande did have his other Grandes on the outside of the ring. I always forget their name. There was a blue one and a red one.
Bravo. I don't know what the other one is. One is Bravo.
I'm gonna call them Blue
Los
Grande.
Americanos is the tag team name.
Grande, Blue Grande, Red Grande.
Bravo
So,
must be blue.
eventually, Blue Grande tries some shenanigans. Jessica Carr is the ref of this match, and she actually did great work because she kicks him out because he's shenanigan. But then the Red Grande on the other side, while she's kicking the Blue Grande out, gives Grande, the actual Grande, his medal to put in his mask. But, Penta sees that coming and kicks him. Well, the Red Grande then gets involved again when Penta's going to the top rope, and Jessica sees him this time, and he goes, okay, well, Red Grande, you get to leave now. So now both mini Grandes are gone, and El Grande tries to... tries to rush Penta, but Penta's still too smart. He hits the Mexican Destroyer on Grande. 1, 2, 3. He gets the win. After the match, the Blue and Red Grandes come back out to try to attack Penta, but Penta just kind of skedaddles away. So this is great. I don't really have much to say about it, but I mean, they're just great in the ring. I thought the El Grande stuff was funny. Popping it.
Yeah, we might be higher on. I know sometimes some people get upset with some of the stuff, but you know what? I enjoyed it. I had fun.
It's fun.
Penta is, you put Penta out there every week with somebody, he's going to have a great match. El Grande's doing some really, really good work since he came back from being gone for such a long time. Nobody knew where he went. Well, this great lucha legend was just mysteriously gone. He's back on TV now, so it's awesome to see him. Los Americanos are just goofy. So he signed me up for that, and it was all just fun stuff. So I don't have a ton to add here. People might be upset, like, oh, Penta needs to be doing something more important, which, yeah, you're right, but I had fun here.
Yeah, I feel like I say this every Raw. Penta should be doing something more important, but like weekly Penta matches are just fun and awesome. So I'm going to continue to enjoy my fun and awesome Penta matches. If you don't like it, you don't like it. We got a Kabuki Warriors package. They basically said that they're going to keep destroying tag teams until they get a title shot, and that starts this week again with they have Bailey and Lyra tonight. So they're just full head of steam toward those tag titles, and it's good stuff. But what was better than that was Dirty Dom, because he came out just to cut a promo. You never get to see
in-ring
promo from Dom, and the crowd's not booing him this time. They're freaking loving him. New Mexico is a great crowd tonight, by the way. He starts off, though, he says, bow down to the king of the Luchas. I am the greatest IC champion of all time. I'm the greatest Mega AAA champion of all time, and no one can stop me. Well, Rey Mysterio is back. Daddy Ray, alleged dad of Dom, is back, and he comes out and he says he draws the line at the king of the luchadors. It insults his family, it insults all these luchadors, and he mentions the name Eddie Guerrero. You're insulting Eddie, and this Dom snaps on him and goes, "You keep my father's name out of your mouth." Line of the night. Dom nailed it. He goes, I am better than all of them, and yes, I am even better than my father, Eddie Guerrero. Well, Ray starts to get pissed off, and he doesn't want him to be saying that, and he takes off his jacket. He's ready to square up, and Dom kind of gets in his face, and he's like, you know what? You're just jealous of me. You even grew your beard out to be like mine, because Ray has a new beard, sort of like Dom's. He said he's made the Mysterio name more relevant than Ray could have ever done it. He's better than Ray in every way, and he's now standing in Dom's ring, and he needs to get out. And Ray basically says, you're never going to be king as long as I'm around of the luchadors. This is never going to be your ring as long as I'm around, and you will never be the greatest Mysterio of all time while I'm around. And so fight ensues between the two of them. Well, Ray actually gets the best of them and kicks Dom and gets a 619 off, but before he can get the splash, what's it called afterward? It's a 619 into the...
It used to be the West Coast Pop.
West Coast Pop, yeah.
I think now he just does a splash.
He just does a splash now, yeah. Dom's able to scoot and skedaddle away. But Rey Mysterio has returned, and he confronts his alleged son, Dirty Dom. Honestly, I thought this was the best that they've done in the ring together. This is awesome. I'm totally down for it. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. This also does bring back an age-old debate. Where does the damage on the 619 take place? Is it on the kick, or is it on the pop/splash? Because Dom does no sell for the kick, so I guess it is the splash. I guess there's your answer, right? I'm gonna pop this stuff. They had a lot of mentioning towards the AAA, towards Lucha Legends, right? So people that were a little bit upset or a little bit like, hey, maybe there's no John Cena versus Dom. I think you're still in the clear here. I think the Ray and Dom stuff are going to be centered around that AAA title, not the IC title. So I think we're good there. Like you said, best stuff for Ray, best stuff for Dom. You have the crowd cheering both of them, and then they're overwhelmingly cheering Dom, but also like, hey, that's your son. Hey, that's your dad, allegedly. You don't talk to them that way, allegedly. So it's all just really good stuff. It was fun. For Ray returning, it'd been a long time, so it's nice to see him back, because you're like, hey, I wonder, he is getting up there. So how much longer does he really kind of have? This was one of those things that, like, if they'd put Ray in something else, I might have been like, you know what? I don't really care. But this was good stuff. This gave me a reason to care.
Yeah, I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I think that this is so much better than when they kind of, in my opinion, the past Dom versus Ray stuff was kind of just forced to make Dom comfortable in his Mania matches, because he did it twice with Ray, and that stuff was good. That was the beginning of Dirty Dom, right? It was good stuff, but it felt very like he's in a comfortable spot with his dad, and we'll figure it out. Now it feels like Dom figured it out. Like Ray walked into the ring with somebody who like knows his character. Dom was standing in the middle of the ring, shooting right back at Ray. He was confident. He was comfortable, confident in his delivery. I just think that they could really have gold in this rivalry. If this ended up being like Rey Mysterio's last rivalry, this last kind of back and forth with his son, that would be awesome. I'm so ready for this.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we get some sort of, obviously, maybe for the title, but then maybe you eventually go to like a retirement versus hair match would be something that would be really cool. And I hope we get some sort of, I'm sure we will, but I hope we get a Ray, Eddie, a bunch of callbacks to that stuff. You can sign me up. This is just gold. Then
before we could even get through back to a commercial break or anything, a wild Becky appears. Becky Lynch hops on the announce table, pulls her sweat, she was wearing the sweatshirt with the hoodie up and all that stuff, and she's pissed off. She says she's going through a lot. She has an injured husband at home. Injured hot husband at home. A vision ruined absolutely everything. Jessica Carr is holding her back. Pierce sent her home to calm down.
She's cool.
She's very cool.
She's cool. She's calm. She's cool.
You know who isn't cool? Maxine. Maxine's not cool. She does not belong here because she's the GOAT. Everybody's saying it. Even Bleacher Report's saying it now, so more people are saying she's the GOAT. She said that Maxine's next match will be her last match, and welcome to the big time, Maxine. So Becky Lynch is calling out Maxine. I just can't wait for that to happen overall. I think Maxine still needs to win it, but this is good stuff from Becky. I'll pop it.
Yeah, we're waiting on Maxine to find out from her friend if she's ready, so I guess we'll find out here pretty soon, right? This was really good stuff. Becky Lynch sits there, and Becky Lynch picks up the mic, and you're like, damn, she is just that damn good. I'm taking a line from Triple H. I am that damn good. Becky Lynch is that damn good. She's just, every time, she can cut a quick promo, and I'm intrigued, I'm invested, I'm bought in right away. It doesn't matter what she says. I am sitting there like, yeah, you know what, Adam Pearce? Yeah, that was a bad move. Becky Lynch is fine. She's okay. And Jessica Carr's been screwing her over. So, like, screw her, too. Yeah, this is Becky Lynch, man. Like, she just keeps showing why she's kind of at the top of her game right now, I'd argue. I know people are going to say, hey, well, the man was like the height of the height of the height. I would still probably take this Becky, like in terms of the character work Becky Lynch is doing, over that. Like she's just really hitting home runs every time she steps out there.
Yeah, I obviously want Maxine to win this thing, but when Becky climbs up on an announce table and just cuts an uninterrupted, just perfect promo aimed at the crowd and aimed at everything, and it's just perfect, I'm like, well, I know Maxine can't do that. So like that, we're gonna be sacrificing that side of the IC thing, but that's what these mid-card titles are for, to help build people and see what they got. So I still want Maxine to win it, but I'm gonna keep appreciating Becky Lynch, man. She is just absolutely phenomenal in every single way.
Yeah, you could do a quick tug of war.
Yeah.
Like Maxine could lose it. Becky could come out, cut a promo, because we all think AJ Lee's interfering some way, somehow. Becky Lynch could cut some promo about how AJ Lynch is screwing over Adam Pearce, just kind of the same thing, but maybe a little bit more. Then you just run it right back. She takes
Bingo. We would get our Kabuki Warriors taking on Lyra and Bayley. Bayley and Lyra met in the backstage. Bayley's in a worse mood tonight than she was last week, so she's kind of mad and unsure versus last week when Lyra was kind of unsure. So we're doing that whole thing. But this is really good. This is a weird thing at the beginning where like Lyra got up and wanted to tag in Bayley, and Asuka like let it happen. She like backed up and she went and tagged in Kyrie and kind of laughed about it. So that was something going on here. But this was a long, great match with a ton of stuff happening. They went outside at one point, and the Kabuki Warriors did like a suplex to Lyra, but Bayley didn't help. She kind of just sat there and watched it. So there's some weird stuff going on. Kyrie Sane had a good part of this match where she was kicking out of everything.
There she was.
She took a Bayley to belly, kicked out of that, and then Lyra, they picked her up, and immediately Lyra did a top rope leg drop to her while she was like bent over, and she kicked out of that. So Kyrie was doing absolutely everything here. But eventually we would have shenanigans happening everywhere, right? But eventually Lyra gets shoved into Bayley off the ropes when Bayley's trying to help her out. And Lyra tries to go to the top rope to do some sort of move onto Asuka, but Lyra jumps back and Asuka catches her in the Asuka lock from behind. And Lyra's looking for help, but it's not there because she accidentally took out Bayley, and Lyra ends up tapping. After the match, out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere, everything's fine. The Kabuki Warriors are kind of acting weird toward Lyra, but they're not attacking her or anything. And then randomly, boom, Charlotte and Alexa's music hits, and they're already like at the ring. The music hit late, and Charlotte and Alexa are just here, and they kind of scare off the Kabuki Warriors. Well, it is official though. Next week we will have Kabuki Warriors taking on Charlexa for those women tag team championships. Man, that is going to be a fantastic match, and I loved all of this. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this match as well. I think it's important. Like, I know we talked about like Super Kyrie. If people want to label it as that, that's fine. But I think it's important because Kyrie's been the overlooked one here that you're like, man, Asuka's so good. Asuka's getting the promo packages. She's the one that's saying, hey, I'm a legend, I'm a legend, I'm a legend. Well, we don't want Kyrie to kind of look like a pushover out of the two. So sign me up. I thought this was great for Kyrie. A little bit weird, like you said, with the Bayley Lyra stuff, but I think that's obviously intentional. Some sort of uncertainty, I guess, is how they want to kind of book this thing going forward, which good for them. That's fine. Main takeaway, obviously, Kabuki Warriors versus the Twisted Queens next week on Raw. You sign me up for that. That's going to be fantastic, right? You have Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I don't need to say anymore. Kabuki Warriors. I don't need to say anymore either. I'm going to take the Kabuki Warriors on this one. I'm going to take some sort of Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. Maybe there's some sort of disconnect. Maybe they don't understand each other. Maybe there's some miscommunication. And we get the Kabuki Warriors getting a win here. If Asuka locks in that Asuka lock like she did on Lyra tonight, which was super cool. It was kind of out of nowhere on that like stunner attempt. It's over. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, I don't know. If I had to book it to where like they say that this is going to be a clean match next week, I'm giving it Kabuki Warriors. They have all the momentum in the world, and the whole point of this is to make them look like awesome heels and get awesome wins. So go ahead and give them the titles. But I do think Lyra and Bayley aren't going to be done with this, and maybe they do get involved here and we get some sort of shenanigans happening that leads us to a triple threat for those tag titles down the line. I would really, really like that. But on paper, if we do get a clean match, I'm taking the Kabuki Warriors because they're just that damn good right now and they deserve them. So yeah.
I don't know. A triple threat tag team match would be pretty sick though.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. Who says no?
Who says no? Not us. You know what? Book it. That's what we're doing. We would move on, though, because we find out, obviously, Roxanne is very happy in the back, and that's when we find out that Raquel is facing Steph, and Finn's very happy about it. Everybody's very happy. And then Dom walks in. He's not happy because he's like, that damn old man's back trying to be my dad again. And and Dom's like, where were all of you guys tonight to back me up when Ray was beating me up? And Finn's like, we were dealing with our own stuff that you're causing because you made us lose the tag titles, and now we have to go deal with that tonight. So how about you just shut up and stop thinking about yourself, Dom? And Finn storms away after handing Dom a shillelagh for the match because they stole Sheamus's last week. Well, Roxanne grabs Dom and puts him on the sofa and starts to talk. And it's this perfect shot where there's Dom on the left, Roxanne on the right, and then in the back is like Liv's bat and Liv's pictures and Liv's shirt and stuff. It's in the back, and Roxanne's basically like calming Dom down and saying like, be there for the boys. And she basically talks him out of his head. So Roxanne is starting to talk to Dirty Dom. We got big matches next week. Dom's on fire. Rox is on fire. It's looking like we're sort of teasing a Liv return. I don't know how healthy she is, but we're planting the seeds here.
Yeah, planting the seeds. Yeah, we kind of talked about it before. Like, man, they haven't really had enough. Well, they've made sure to make it a point now. Roxanne, stay away from Dom. How dare you? Raquel is playing darts, even though she's like 4 feet away, but she can't hear anything. But it is what it is, whatever. She's got her own stuff to focus on. But I do like this added element of Roxanne. This was clearly the route they were going to go initially when she came up, right? In terms of some sort of jealous Liv over Dom, which is gold every time it's on TV anyway. So sign me up for this. I think Roxanne's been fantastic. Dom's fantastic. All this stuff, like, I know people are going to be like, man, the Judgment Day should break up. I'm enjoying all the Judgment Day stuff right now. Yeah, sure. I agree. It should have already been done, but it's not. And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't think Liv's coming back anytime soon, but I do think this is going to be the start of the story that eventually gets us to the Liv return, because I think Roxanne, like you brought up on the stream, kind of needs to be the glue. She needs to be the glue girl for the Judgment Day so that she like cements herself into that. So it's a problem when Liv comes back. She can't just return and be the queen of the Judgment Day like she was for so long. But Roxanne, you got to keep your hands off Dirty Dom, man. He's a come on. That's Liv's boy. Get your hands off him.
It's only going to get worse.
I know.
Or better, I guess, depending on which side
you are
looking at. Yeah.
Tag team championships, we lead right into it. It's a team of AJ Lee, Dragon Lee, and AJ Styles.
Dragons.
Phenomenal AJ Lee, I like it better. Versus Finn and JD, the Judgment Day, and they would attack before the bell even rang. And they were beating the hell out of Dragon Lee. Well, it didn't take too long for Dom to run out there with that shillelagh, and he was doing all the right things. He was distracting when he needed to, and he distracted just in time to get an easy coup de grace for Finn, but he ends up freaking coup de grace on JD. And then Dom's like, what the hell, man? So now he has the shillelagh and he puts it where Finn can eventually get it. So there's that later. But Finn tells Dom to go distract again. And Finn's like, okay. Or yeah, Dom's like, okay, I'll go listen to you, Mr. Finn. But then Sheamus shows up because we stole
he told him to like hit him with the title.
Yeah. And so he like loaded him up and they were distracting the ref. So basically Dom was being a good boy and was listening to everything here, but Sheamus had to come and want his shillelagh back, and he beats up Dom and throws him away. Well, Finn eventually does hit AJ Styles with the shillelagh, but Dragon Lee is able to break up the pin. Well, Dom is there is a moment where Dom is still on the ropes when all this is happening. And AJ sends Finn into Dom, and Dom's wearing the titles. So Finn eats it on his face and just goes out cold. And he is sitting there draped over the ropes for like a solid couple minutes while AJ's doing his attacks.
It's pretty solid.
But eventually, all hell breaks loose, and it doesn't work out for the Judgment Day. Dragon Lee is able to take out Finn Balor on the outside. JD goes for a move on the corner, but AJ is able to swiftly take him out, and it ends up he falls right into a Styles clash. 1, 2, 3. The team of AJ Styles and Dragon Lee remain champions. This was the right decision. This was a fun match. It's another pop, man. Good Raw.
Yeah, it's another pop indeed. Fun match.
Yeah.
This team of Dragon Lee, AJ Styles, they're really fun. You can put them out there with anybody. They're going to have really good matches. Depending on the week, AJ Styles might get the shine. Dragon Lee might get the shine. I don't really care. They're fun to watch. And Judgment Day side of things, they lose the titles, and Finn's probably going to be upset, but also you can't be upset at Dom. You can only be upset at himself and JD. So I like that aspect. Like Roxanne's maybe holding the glue together with that Judgment Day for a little bit.
Yeah, this is more just to move on to the Judgment Day's inner storyline happening in AJ Styles. Damn it happened again. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee can move on with their story, but this was a ton of fun, man. A ton of fun.
And Sheamus, hopefully he gets his shillelagh back.
Well, Sheamus has work to do next week because we did get the first two matches of the Last Time Is Now tournament. They will be Rusev taking on Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Sheamus. So it's looking like we are going to mix and match brands within the matches. 2 good matches next week. I'm excited.
Yeah, you're going to get some matches that you didn't think you'd really get, right? You got the Raw, superstar from Raw and a superstar from SmackDown in each match so far. The 2 so far. We find out more on SmackDown. Hopefully we get some NXT announced on SmackDown. But sign me up. This is going to be a really fun tournament. You're going to get really good matches, hard-hitting matches, maybe matches that you didn't think you'd get right away, or maybe a little bit like, man, I wish this would happen. Well, here's your chance right now. So they really got a chance to kind of build some stars, build some feuds out of just the tournament in terms of, hey, yeah, the goal is to be seen as last opponent, but also along the way, let's get some stuff going with other people.
Yep. You guys will hear more about this later on the week. Be looking out for a podcast because we're going to do a whole thing over it. So just be ready for that. I'll give my full opinion on all of that then. But let's get into the main event. But before the main event, we did have Paul Heyman walking up to Jey Uso. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, yeet. He said yeet. He didn't say yeet. He said, why the hell are you teaming up with Punk? He beat your ass. Jay was like, oh, well, I'm not listening to you no more. And Paul's like, well, if you're trying to be Roman wouldn't have done it. And Jay's like, well, I'm done listening to Roman. I'm done listening to Jimmy. I'm doing my own thing right now. And Paul basically tells him, look, Vision's now just, we're loose. We're not waiting anymore. Anybody can get it. It's on site for anybody. But you could be a part of the Vision if you want to be. So give that a thought before this match. And we would get our match. Punk and Jay, they team up to take on the Vision, Braun and Bronson. And Jay does not decide to join the Vision. He decides to fight alongside Punk. And Punk and Jay are looking real good at the beginning of this match. But of course, the Vision have to do their destroying. And they destroy Punk for a lot of this match for a Jay hot tag. Eventually, though, Jay spears Bronson Reed. And they go to the outside, and they're on the table, and it looks like they're going to set up. Oh, no, that's later afterward. I'm completely out of my thing.
I don't know if it really matters.
It doesn't really matter.
It was all just a mess anyway.
There's some big moves. There's spears and stuff, but they all end up on the outside of the ring. All right? And on the outside of the ring, you have just generic punches and stuff being thrown. It's not even like overly aggressive. They're kind of just like stomping each other and like hits here and there. Well, refs at 7, refs at 8, refs at 9, count out happens.
Mm-hmm.
Bling, what the hell? And okay, we're not done yet then, of course, because you can't just end Raw with a count out. So the Vision start to destroy, right? They start to destroy, but then obviously Punk and Jay, they get to fight back. Well, they do set up Bronson Reed on the table, and Jay wants to go splash him through the table. Until Braun Breaker comes around and spears his socks off, does that running spear. Well, then Bronson gets off the table and takes out CM Punk. Well, they get Jay back into the ring. They spear Jay again in the ring. They actually hit a tsunami on Jay. And then Punk shows up with the chair, scares them off, but they actually get the bright idea like, oh, we can also get chairs. So the Vision go and they grab their own chairs. And now it's Punk standing there with a chair versus the Vision with their chairs. Oh, God, 2v1. Who's going to show up? Logan Paul. He's good. Tsunami didn't break his ribs. He comes out. He puts on the brass knuckles. Oh, my God, is Logan Paul going to turn face? Nope. Bang! Smacks CM Punk right in the mouth with it. He then walks on over to Paul Heyman, takes the brass knuckles off, and hands them to Mr. Paul Heyman. Raw ends with Logan Paul joining the Vision to take out CM Punk and Jay Uso. New era of wrestling it is, I guess, because Logan Paul is on the Vision. I'm dropping this. I'm absolutely dropping this. A count out, drop.
Yeah, I'm going to drop this. I mean, I don't even know if I would say he's full on, obviously, with the Vision, right? I think this is just maybe just Survivor Series specific, right? In terms of War Game stuff. At least that's kind of my hope here. They got the reaction they wanted from the crowd. They got a lot of people hating Logan Paul, which is going to be what you get with Logan Paul. That's why when they kind of quote unquote tease the face turn, some people were like, well, this is not the way to go. Don't do this. Well, they didn't. They made sure to do what we all kind of thought they would do. Yeah, I know it's just to set up the War Game stuff, but the whole thing, when Punk's first match is being champion too, I get it's a tag match too and all that stuff. The count out stuff, all of it was just a mess. I just found myself at the end of it being like, okay, yeah, we figured Logan Paul would be a part on the Vision's team for Survivor Series, but the way to get there was a mess. Maybe it could have been cleaned up a little bit different, but it was just a really anticlimactic way to end Raw when Raw had been so good.
I completely agree. I'm not even a big Logan Paul hater. I actually give him his props when it comes to the in-ring stuff. I think he does a good job. I just don't like this from the standpoint of like CM Punk comes out at the beginning of the show and he cuts a great promo about all this great matches we can potentially get against AJ Styles, JD, Dirty Dom, etc. And then it's like Logan Paul inserts himself into this and then Logan Paul ends the show with the Vision. It's just like, man, that doesn't feel new or good or anything. It doesn't feel like anything changed tonight for the new era of CM Punk being great. I get it. We're setting up War Games stuff, and I get it. It'll probably be a great War Games match, and maybe we can change it up after War Games, but it sure as hell feels like we're kind of just going to stick to the Vision versus the world title and Punk, and that just feels kind of boring after what CM Punk said we could get at the beginning.
Yeah, it felt like a very fresh realization at the beginning or like a brand new start and you're like, okay, we can breathe.
Yeah.
He says hi to Seth Rollins. He taunts Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
The Vision's over there. Cool. I can relax. And yeah, at the end of the day, it might end up being CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. I think we can all kind of acknowledge that, right? Yeah. But that's way down the line. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to deal with that anytime soon. Well, like you said, it's the same old stuff with a new era that wasn't really new. And you're just kind of like,
Yeah, it was it was like a 2 hour and 45 minute Raw, which is a little bit more than we wanted it to be. It was like 2 hours and 15 minutes of that. That was some damn good stuff. But then it felt like, okay, back to the basics at the end. And
well, it's a new era, but the Vision were in the front and the beginning.
Yeah, would you look at that?
Yep.
14 pops to 2 drops. So we were very overly excited about this episode of Raw. It was absolutely great. So the ending didn't really stick the landing, but this is a great episode of Raw. So if you can't check it out, please do check it out. Mm-hmm. Make sure to stop by our live streams as well for SmackDown and Raw and all the PLEs for the future. It is youtube.com/CODWrestlePod. And then for everything else for the podcast, it's at CODWrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. Take it to all of our social medias. Please like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff because we are confident that you'll love our content. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.